all of us are appreciators of art. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be watching a manga YouTube channel. Whether that art is visual, audible, or something you can eat, or the written word, art resonates with all of us. All of us are capable of creating beautiful things, but not all of us have the time it takes. Not all of us have the dedication it takes. Many of us have tried to create something beautiful and simply given up on it. Whether that was due to the frustration at our lack of progress or the critique of others is inconsequential. What matters is that art is hard. It takes time and practice. Two stories I want to share real quick before we get into the meat of our video. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically, if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. There is a story about a pottery teacher who divided his class in half. Half of them were going to be graded on quality, the other half on quantity. The half that was graded on quantity got to work and started knocking out pots. The other half started discussing what makes a perfect pottery piece. Their discussions were animated, engaging, and enlightening. At the end of the year, who do you think was making higher quality pieces? If you guessed the half of the class that focused on quality, you would be wrong. The half that got their hands dirty and did the work discovered through trial and error what makes good pottery. The other half could discuss what makes good pottery, but they couldn't demonstrate it. The other story I want to tell isn't so much a story, it's a harsh truth. There are two types of people in the world: creators and complainers. Tite Kubo said it best when he told critics of Bleach that if they thought they could write a better story, they were welcome to try. There is a massive gap in the mental health quality between people who make things and people who just sit around and complain all day. I'm not saying you need to stop watching anime or quit all video games. I'm just saying that if you're feeling depressed, try making something. It doesn't have to be good or make you money, but it does require time and effort on your part. Now, here's the second part of that harsh truth. Friends who make fun of you for making art aren't friends. Remove them from your life. Let me be clear. For the most part, I despise the whole grind set movement. Humans aren't built to get up at 5, work out, work for 9 hours in an office, then go off and work for 6 more hours on side projects before getting 6 hours of sleep. At least, not for an extended period of time. But if you have a goal that you're working towards, if you're trying to improve yourself even just a little bit, you want to cut the negative people from your life. I don't mean your friend who's bullying you to drink water. Those are the type of people you want in your life forever. I mean the friend who does nothing but complain about how hard life is, but never does anything to improve their situation. Or maybe you are that person. Maybe you are the person who's always putting others down and is just waiting for others to fail so you can be right. In that case, get off your ass and do something other than whining. Which brings me to the main subject of my video. Iruma is a celebration of art, especially the hard part, the grind. Pushing yourself past your limits to bring about something beautiful and horrible. And it has done so twice. The arcs I'm going to talk about are two of the best representations of this I've seen, and they happen in a silly shonen isekai series. Yes, Welcome to Demon School Iruma-Kun is an isekai. Just because Iruma-Kun wasn't hit by a truck but was instead sold by his parents to a demon doesn't mean it's not. He's literally in another world, or parallel dimension. Spoilers for Iruma, obviously. For those who don't know, Iruma is a good-hearted boy incapable of saying no. His parents forced him to work so they could be lazy, then sold him to a demon so that they could live a life of luxury. The demon, Lord Sullivan, just wanted a grandchild that he could spoil and show off pictures of to his fellow high-ranking demons. So now Iruma is living in the netherworld, and if anyone discovers he's human, he'll either be arrested or devoured. After all, the school song at Babylos is all about how delicious humans taste. The first arc I want to talk about takes place immediately after Season 3 of the anime ends. The last episode of Season 3 actually starts us off in this arc, where we get to meet Person, the 13th member of the Misfits class. It is the next arc I want to talk about, the Music Festival arc. The Misfit class has been told that unless every member of the Misfits gets into rank 4, they will be kicked out of Royal 1. There are already a few rank 4s, most of the class is rank 3, but Elizabeth and Nissan is still rank 2. So the plan is simple. We do a musical story with Nissan as the star, while featuring all the rank 3s. This way she'll get 2 ranks and everyone will be rank 4. Only, there's a problem with this plan. There's another rank 2 in the class. Person. Okay, no problem. We'll just set it up so both of them can show off. Only there's a huge problem. Person's bloodline magic is detection warding. In other words, he's a demon who is incapable of standing out. So the first 5 or so chapters of this arc are spent getting to know Person. We learn about him, how his family is, and eventually discover that he hates his bloodline ability. He has so many words that are trying to get out, so much repression, that the only way for him to express himself is through music. So when he's feeling frustrated, he sneaks onto the roof of the school building and breaks out his trumpet. There's a school legend about the pixie who will play a trumpet high up on the roof, but no one has ever seen who it is. There's no rhyme or reason to when the passionate trumpeting will occur. Of course, Person is Pixie, which is why he mentioned that singing wasn't in the cards for the music festival, but maybe he could play some music. Eventually, Iruma-Kun figures it out, has a heart-to-heart with Person, and the class gets to work practicing. Now, as I said earlier, one of the things that bothers me with most shonen manga is how they don't show the grind. At most, you get a chapter or 2 of training montages or a flashback showing how they already learned the secret technique. I mean, think about Ichigo learning Bankai. He goes into a hot spring with Yoroichi, and then a couple days later, he's capable of dropping lieutenants without his Zanbakuto, he can summon a Bankai, and is an even match for Byakuya. What kind of training did he have? Who knows? Actual training arcs showing the struggle are the type of thing you see in seinen manga, not shonen. Think about the final cosplay in My Dress Up Darling. Between the time when Gojo tells Kitagawa he's going to make the costume to when she first puts it on, 12 chapters. At this point, Gojo is experienced in cosplay. He knows what he's doing, and it still takes him 12 chapters. And just like that arc, it takes the Misfit class 14 chapters to get ready for their performance. First, they have to convince Person to join them. Then they have to figure out a performance wherein all 13 members of the Misfit class can participate, with the focus on being those who are rank 3, but especially allowing the 2 rank 2s to shine, so they can all be rank 4s before the end of the semester. But devils do not work together well. The idea of performing as a unit is foreign to them. Just ask Hiroli, the secret Devidol. There was once a competition where several Devidolls tried to dance in sync with each other, but it was physically painful for them. It was called a hell dance because that's what the dancers felt. Dancing in unison was hell for these girls. Only the strongest were able to last more than a minute. Not even professionals could handle the strain. And here she is asking amateurs to do it. Then again, these were the amateurs who had the guts and drive to open up Royal 1. They were given an impossible task and pushed through. So what's one more? On top of that, they have the best teacher at the school, one who recognizes their greed and feeds it. Not directly, that's not how teaching works, especially in the underworld. You have to manipulate your students into doing what you want and help point their innate greed in the right direction. After all, greed is what defines demons. If it weren't for how greedy Uruma became during his evil cycle, the Misfits would have never gotten Royal 1 as their classroom. Of course, there's also the problem of Person's father wanting his son to never stand out. Their family ability demands they stay neutral because the idea of a family who can simply disappear is terrifying to other demons. But long ago, Person's mother could tell that her son couldn't keep everything inside like his father. He needed the ability to express himself. But more importantly, he needed the means to express himself. Eventually, after weeks of prep work, the class gets to perform. There were setbacks, there was doubt, and the Misfits weren't sure even if they could pull it off. But when given an impossible task, the 13 of them stepped up, and even the judges were in shock. The performance they chose is called Lilith's Red Carpet. The song is about Lilith, a legendary succubi who could never find love. The red carpet represents the men who threw themselves at her feet, and she just stepped over them. The class decides that Lilith was looking for love, but could never find it. And Elizabeth Nissan is the one playing Lilith. I cannot wait for this scene to be an anime. After we got to witness the results of all the other classes, the Misfits charge the stage. They're not even in uniform. They're just calling for Nissan. Where could she be? She loves me, after all. I'm the one she'll choose. And then they hear a click. The sharp and unmistakable sound of a heeled shoe striking the stage. And the boys all dive beneath the curtain, searching for her. The red curtain rises and becomes her red dress, and Elizabeta, transformed into Lilith herself, stands before all, imposing, alluring, and unreachable. No matter how much you love her, you will never be good enough for her. Your love is not what she is looking for. She wants a love that will burn like fire. The chapter where they perform is almost 50 pages. It would not surprise me if the entire episode only covered the single chapter. And rather than just being a vehicle for ongoing romance or some other literary trope, the performance is the conclusion of this arc. The class is able to show off how far they've come together, and Person is able to show his true self to the entire student body. How he suddenly appears in the middle of everyone only to blow everyone away by his performance is the perfect conclusion to his character arc. Now, they do have a bit more to wrap up, but if this were the only artistic performance throughout the series, then we'd be done here. But it's not the only performance. Well, the next one isn't on a stage per se, but it does showcase art. I suppose I should explain. Now, what I just went over will be happening in the first few episodes of the upcoming season, so it won't be a spoiler for too long. The next part is from much further on in the series, so consider this your spoiler warning. Iruma is now in his second year, and the time has come once again for the Battler Party. At Babylos, the school that Iruma attends and that his grandfather is the headmaster of, clubs are called battlers. And every year they have a sort of combination recruitment drive/cultural festival called the Battler Party. Every battler goes all out trying to show off their club and prove that they're the best. And therefore, you should join them. In fact, the winning captain is guaranteed a rank up. Rank ups in Babylos aren't just for students. All the devils of the Netherworld have a rank, from 1 all the way up to 13. But there's only ever one rank 13. Currently, Iruma is rank 5, which is very impressive for someone who just started their second year of high school. In fact, Emeri-chan, the love interest and student council president, is only rank 6. But Iruma isn't interested in ranking up so much as creating a fun experience for everyone. Well, fun being relative. After all, for this battler party, he wants to create something scary enough to make demons turn and run. Iruma borrows one of the sacred texts, manga, from Emeri and shows his classmates what he means about a haunted house. One of the new members, Sylvia Sabnock, becomes obsessed with the art style in the manga. Sylvia is a first year and the younger sister of Sabro Sabnock. The night after Iruma shows them the manga, she lay awake in bed, her mind full of ideas that she had to get on paper. If you've never laid awake at night, an idea burning in your soul that you have to put on paper. Screw sleep, this is more important. Are you even human? Or a demon, in her case? The next day, all the members of the Magitools Battler come together to present their ideas. But none of the ideas really seem to fit what Iruma had in mind. He's worried that none of them have a sense of aesthetic, and that their design skills are lacking. And then Sylvia shyly shows them her drawings. Everyone is blown away by her skill and creativity. Iruma promotes her to be captain of the arts. But when they see how big of a space they've been assigned, the team realizes they are severely lacking in manpower. They realize they need the help of the Arts Battler. The Arts Battler always acts as extra manpower for this event, and consistently helps all the other clubs with the party setup. Well, most of them do. There are a couple of exceptions. Vin Marnie is a second year, just like Iruma, but she's too small to be of much use. She can't paint the big displays, and she can't carry anything heavy. She's also shy and tends to melt when startled. But the art battler lets her draw, and she does help when she can. So Vine just sits in the corner and draws. She did do the poster for this year's event, and people are impressed by her skill, but she's also aware of her limitations. There's another person in that corner, a 5th-year student named Beam. He's always laying around, a lump of fur on the floor or storage boxes. Of course, these are the only 2 members of the art battler that are available when Iruma comes asking for help. Come to find out, Beam is actually a legendary artist who isn't allowed to draw anymore. Once upon a time, there was a painting that was considered the most frightening in the netherworld. Known as the Bowing Palome, if you stand in front of it and call the name of Palome, she turns to smile at you. And if you meet her eyes, you become unwell, both physically and mentally. Sylvia was both frightened and fascinated by this painting. As it turns out, Beam, the lump of fur in the corner, was the one who painted it. And because his paintings cause actual damage to any who view them, he was banished from ever painting again. Until now, when Iruma asks him to paint. Of course, the new painting is just as horrifying as his old one, so the teachers at Babylos refuse to allow it. But their entire show was built around this painting. And so Sylvia asks to paint a copy of it. The original won't be displayed, instead it will only be a copy. Beam stays with her and pulls her out of the painting when she gets drawn in by Galna, Palome's little sister. Eventually, the day of the party battler arrives, and 3 of Iruma's classmates are invited to be the first ones to attend the haunted house. The invitation alone is enough to scare them. You see, this place used to be an art museum, a sacred place dedicated to displaying fine pieces of art. Demons from around the netherworld would come and view the beautiful paintings, until Galna arrived. Maybe you, gentle visitor, can help us out? As you can see, this is what the place looks like now. Welcome, one and all, to the Mobius Art Museum. Please, only 3 guests at a time. Don't mind the fine print on the consent form, just take this lantern. It will light the way and keep you safe. What was supposed to be an art show is, in fact, a haunted house. A haunted escape room, if you will. A cursed doll will give them advice if they're kind to it, which allows them to avoid the monster in the upcoming hall. And if the demons are able to survive to the end, they finally make it to the showroom. Blindingly bright after the darkness of the rest of the building, this room is strewn with flowers. Within, a single painting is on display, a painting capable of pulling out their souls. The painting contains a beautiful woman, a woman who smiles, and then her smile widens into something horrifying. Displayed beneath the painting, there's a plaque that reads, "Let here your valor burn." When the trio was given their lanterns as they entered the haunted house, they were told that these were the lights of valor. All 3 figured out the clue and set the painting ablaze, which was actually a trap, as now Galinda, the woman trapped in the painting, stood up, flowers for eyes, and screamed for them. After all, she just wanted to talk, but you set me on fire. Art doesn't have to bring joy, but it does have to evoke emotion. Sometimes that emotion is sadness. Sometimes it is a fierce exultation. And sometimes it is stark, raving terror, which is exactly what the boys were feeling. And this is why Iruma is one of my favorite series. The author understands that fear and joy are things that all of us experience, and you need both, especially when you're in a world of demons. What about you? What series do you know of that celebrates art? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cutestuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. There are several tiers to choose from. You can pick an anime or manga for me to do a video about, or you can join our monthly manga club. I also want to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alex, Conga, Robert Pye, Gazeras, Patrick, Tiz, Art, Richard, Boomy, Osira, Justin, Golden Walker, Captain Hammer, Sleech, Mr. Salty, Daniel, and Zombie. You guys are awesome. I post anime or manga videos often, or you can click here to watch additional videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Musings by Danon.